This is not another stream. This is the moment we show up. Real talk, real truth, real people, ready to ride. No filter, no fluff, just raw conversation that hits where it matters. Welcome to the revolution of you being you live. Let's go live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit it! That is a great intro. You guys love it? I did it myself. I'm like totally into it.
Oh, nice. Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was my voice. That was like some song I found, that was cheap. And got it together.
Yeah. You mixed it together.
Look at Lisa talking.
Yeah, I do talk.
So I saw you on the last one.
Yeah, she was like silent. Michael, look at you. You're a grown man.
Yep. 29. Going on 30.
Oh, you're really grown.
Yeah.
You're not particularly grown. You're like a grown man. How is it living in Springfield?
Oh, it's I've been kind of all over the place, so it's kind of nice to be back, because you're coming back home. It's good to be close to family, and at the same time, every once in a while, I like to travel a bit. So I think it's a good spot to be able to, still, live within your means, but also, if you want to go somewhere, just pick up and go. You have the money to do it now, so something like that.
Nice. So when you say you've been all over the place, where have you been?
So I lived in Edwardsville for a while. I was in just a few areas around there, like Clinton Carbon, Belleville. Lived in St. Louis for a few years. Then I moved to LA for about a year or so, and then ended up coming back here. So
I lived in LA all my life, basically from 12 to 12 to 28.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Yeah, that's the story.
So how do you like it? Are you still in LA or?
I'm in Miami now. So
okay.
LA is really a great city to live in.
Yeah.
It is. It's different. It truly has a different type of culture there.
Yeah, it has that energy.
Yeah. It's almost like New York, but slow.
Yeah.
Have you been in New York City?
I haven't been to New York, but I've heard a lot of people kind of give that a similar description to it, so that makes sense. 'Cause I can kind of assume, if I was like the rewind that and see how, because California everything's pretty laid back.
Yeah,
so I can always assume just from watching TV and stuff about New York. That makes sense.
Right. So whenever I would get off a plane in New York, I would feel like I was just pushed into like a funnel, like just whoosh, because LA is so laid back, but you still have that diversity, all sorts of cultures. You have all the different foods you want. It's kind of like the same but more laid back. So why did you leave LA?
So we left because
wait. Who's we?
Oh, so my wife and I, when we were there.
Okay. So you're married at 29.
Married, yeah.
How long have you been married?
So this year will be 3 years in August. Yeah.
So you got married at 26.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's wild thinking about that way.
Yeah. And
but hold on.
Kids
so
have?
Bill, you can do math?
Shut up.
Can we pause for a second? I'm sorry I was delayed getting on. Can we do proper introductions before I apologize for my cousin Bill. He didn't pause to introduce us and everything. So I know we're all related, but it's a big family, so we all don't know each other. Again, so my name is Bill Scott. I born in Springfield. My dad is Charles Scott, aka Poogie.
Right.
Yeah.
My grandfather was William Scott. So I was for a while like the oldest cousin. and my grandpa I think was the oldest sibling, and my dad I think was the oldest of the first cousins. So if that all makes sense. Anyway, it's nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you
Me
too.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you guys tell me how we're related in terms of where you are in the family and how we know each other and all that, the commonality?
Well, I'll start. This is okay. So this is my son. This is my youngest child,
Gotcha.
and I am the daughter of Bernadette, who
Okay.
was James's daughter,
Got it. Okay.
who is
Cook.
James.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So James and my dad are our first cousins.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And it's weird that you don't know them because you were so
Oh, yeah.
close in area. Bill and I grew up like brothers, even though we like live far apart. I lived in Chicago. He was born in Springfield, and then eventually he moved to Chicago, like Glenview, but the Chicago area. And then I would spend all my weekends with him. So
Okay.
Okay.
we lost touch during our teenage years, and then reconnected. But we really reconnected on this show, like really. And I want to say. I want to say to you, Mr. Scott, that I really am so grateful that we are back in touch. I really am. I'm emotional about it sometimes.
Yeah, you are. Jeez.
Yeah. Well, because we had a conversation today, and I'm able to be very transparent with you.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing after all these years to be able to just be
No, for sure.
transparent.
No, I agree. So, the bigger question for you, Bill, is so sometimes you wear the white glasses, sometimes the black glasses. What drove you to wear the white glasses today? Just out of curiosity.
That's
Yeah,
the
the
big
hard,
question.
the hard-hitting questions.
Because I have white fleece under my Snuggie.
Oh,
So I figured if I did that, the white glasses would pop off better.
Now it works.
Okay.
yeah,
Wearing
okay.
that collar.
Yeah,
Do you
collar
do you
out.
wear your Snuggie out and about in public in the Miami area?
It's huge, yes. So I live in Miami, and I keep my house at like 58 degrees
Okay.
Okay.
all the time. So it looks weird because you're thinking, why is he like wearing this big old Snuggie?
Yeah.
You know, It's because my house is freezing, and I have 2 dogs, and they're Akitas. So they're full of fur. So they don't want to be hot. I don't want to be hot. And the humidity sets in, and it's just like over. So
I gotcha. I didn't mean to distract us from the bigger point. What Bill is saying is this forum, this medium has helped us get to know a lot of even cousins I've known before, get to know them deeper and more in depth. And just well, first of all, it's amazing that a lot of people we talk to, like, we look like them, which is great because it's nice to not feel alone in this world. But it's also just reassuring to see how successful and how grounded everyone is. I mean,
it's weird, right?
yeah. I mean, even though you can be related to someone, you don't necessarily have to like them, So it's nice to actually meet cousins that are cool, and then what I would hang out with them, So, and to me, we always see and granted, I don't go to enough family reunions. I've only been to a couple. So this to me, this is like a weekly little mini family reunion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good way
Yeah.
to look at it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah. So I imagine the next time we actually have a physical family reunion, I'll be like, oh, we know each other. It'll be
Yeah.
Well, we will for once be popular, right?
yeah. Well,
Everyone will know it.
there won't be that awkward first couple hours where you try to figure out who each other are and stuff. You can be like, hey, oh yeah, how was that interview? Or hey, how'd that thing go? Because we'll be in contact and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I love about it, Lisa, is that we don't talk about what we do for a living, how much money we make, where we went to school. We talk about who we are as people.
Right.
So I'm going to start right now. So I got a rejection letter yesterday.
Oh,
All
from that
y'all
one
are-
from
Yeah,
that one interview.
it
Oh,
was my second interview, but yeah.
Yeah.
That was heartbreaking. And it's heartbreaking because everyone says, well, what do you think happened? And I'm like, well, I've owned my own company. I've guided companies to $256 million. And the people that are interviewing me are 29 years old. So, they look at me, Mike, and they're like, I don't know if I can manage this guy, and I'm looking at, I need a job. So it's kind of, it's kind of sad. Yeah. And it's sad because you work so that you can have a very thorough resume and an appealing resume, and then you get worked out of the market.
Yeah.
And I don't want to start my own business again. I've done it.
I think you just need to look at it like you just haven't found the right fit yet, instead of like looking at it like, you're being, I just, you got to spin that shit. Like, I think what's the law of attraction, right? I know you're into that, you probably have a vision board or whatever.
Well, we probably
I
did.
don't-
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't necessarily believe in that, but I do believe that you get what you put out there. And I think you just haven't found the right niche yet, or maybe while you're treading water and you're interviewing and you start up all these different podcasts, maybe this is the niche, maybe this turns into something that actually becomes your paid career. So just you got to keep plugging away and just, I know because I feel like I'm not interviewing for a job. I'm kind of settled in my career now, but it's some ups and downs. I've had a few different careers in my life. You gotta stay positive, man, and you gotta watch The Big A. I mean, we talked about this, months ago when you're interviewing, right? What's The Big A?
Oh, yeah.
Arrogance is what I
Michael,
caution
do I seem
my
arrogant to
cousin.
you?
No. I know where it's like our first time officially meeting, but what I've seen, like, no, I can't say you are.
I'm very down to earth.
You don't have to kiss his ass, Michael. You don't have to worry about it. Honestly,
Yeah, a little egg not playing.
I was actually very conscious of you during my interview, so I was not arrogant at all.
okay.
So, Michael, tell us more about yourself. So, I started to ask, do you have kids?
I do not have any kids. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you got married.
Cats at home, but no
Okay,
kids.
you got married at 26, and your mom loves your wife.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was a big pause there. Whoa.
I didn't know if you wanted you to answer that one.
Is there a story there?
It might be.
Yeah.
William trying to give the Elton John look.
Oh, Tom Cullen, I see that. You're absolutely right.
Okay.
Rocket Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you lived in LA. So where did you guys meet?
So we were actually best friends since high school. We were
Perfect.
So my wife's from here, and so we met in high school. We went to Springfield High together. She was one grade above me, and we worked on a few shows together, and just became really good friends, and kind of just kept that friendship going. And
So what do you mean shows?
So she would perform in a lot of like musicals and plays,
In
and I
Springfield.
didn't really do any acting, but I like to get my hands dirty and like build sets and stuff. So I did a lot of the set building.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
And so one day I was asked to go and hold this ladder for one of the cast members, so they could help, because they were helping with us building the set. And the person I was holding the ladder for was my future wife.
That's a
Wow.
great story. Yeah. That's awesome.
And Lisa.
Yes.
So you've known her for several years now,
Yeah. Yep.
and she's lovely, right?
Yeah, absolutely. very, very intelligent, just a real caring person. So yeah, I mean, she's great.
That's awesome.
She's great.
That
No,
is
that is a good story. You know, if Michael, if you guys do have kids, like every time you go to a hardware store and you pass the ladder, you can be like, you never know. You see that ladder over there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You never know.
Exactly. Exactly.
wow. So, what do you do for a living? Can I ask?
Yeah. So I got my major in computer science. Right out of school, I was working for a pretty big company. And I, started out as a developer. So, it was, basic coding and such. So I was mainly like building out web pages for the company I worked for, and also, doing the back end work for them as well. So it could be things as simple as, being able to track where a user would be, would click on a button, be able to track where the user's looking, for marketing reasons and such. And then from there, I eventually, I think 2 years in, got into management, and eventually had my own little team that I was leading, where it was mainly like a documentation based team. Whenever these product teams would create, we're working through a pretty big project. Whenever they were creating the actual software, my team would go in and document every piece of it. And then I'd be able to present that to other areas of the company, so we're all on the same page. And whoever comes later, be able to just pick that up and understand. So and so from there, I've switched companies. I'm now at a new company, but I've actually decided to go back into development because I didn't really want to lose that side of me, because the more you do management, I'm not touching live code anymore. So, and I wanted to get back on the field and kind of get my hands dirty, I guess. So
Nice.
now we're trying to work my way as a developer again. So it's been nice.
That's awesome. It's awesome that you know yourself well enough that you know what you like. Yeah.
I'd say it definitely, it takes time. You have to, the more you get to know yourself, I think especially the older you get, the more you do introspection, the more you can understand, this is something I want to get into. This is something I want to pursue.
That's
And
cool.
I think that made all the difference. Time.
Where'd you go to school?
So I went to Southern Illinois University of Edwardsville.
Gotcha.
And yeah, that's where I got my bachelor's. And then that's kind of while I was living all around that area, and eventually moved to St. Louis, because my first company I worked for was right over there.
Mhm.
So
Nice. And you said you're living in Springfield now. I heard that when I joined. I was a little late. So you're living in
Yeah.
Springfield now?
yeah, so I'm currently living in Springfield, and that actually kind of raises a question. I was wondering, are you currently in Springfield, or?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
No. I moved in I think it was 13. I moved to the Chicago area, and only time I ever go back to Springfield is for family events. But it's a mixed bag. I now I'm going to get a little deep, but I've like a lot of bad things associated with Springfield. So it's weird for me to go back. Like
Yeah.
grandmother dying, people passing away, my parents got divorced. I don't know. It's just I was born and raised, born in St. John's Hospital, went to schools. I don't know. It just doesn't hit home for me. It just feels weird going back there sometimes. Still love it, but it's kind of bittersweet, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's kind of like Chicago for me.
Oh yeah, because you
Yeah.
grew up in Chicago.
Until
As a
12.
child.
So until I was 12, 11, 12. So it was rough, and it represents bad memories, not really the greatest memories, until I reassess them.
Yeah.
And I look at the fact that we rode bikes until the sunlight until the streetlights came on outside, and we had a community, and everyone was a doctor or a lawyer in the neighborhood.
Oh, his neighborhood was great. I loved his neighborhood. I was actually telling him, I think last year we were talking about it. I had to go somewhere on the south side for business, but I was close to his old neighborhood, so I drove by and checked it out. And it's physically it looks the same, but it's a little different. It's a little rougher. But yeah, his neighborhood was great.
Yeah.
A lot of young professionals.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool, but it's a little
Young Black
different now.
professionals.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. The neighborhood was great. The community was great. All of that stuff was golden. But the home life was difficult, as you and I have talked about before. So, Michael, back to you. So while these two old bald men talk about how tragic their spouses were. So tell me 3 great things about your mom.
I mean, there's plenty. So I'm trying to think of which ones that actually say they make the 3.
Nicely done, Michael.
I'd say first off, I mean, it's true. I mean, first off, my mom has definitely been one of my biggest role models. I think that, I wouldn't have made it to this point or have become the person that, and I like to look at myself and say, like, I think that I'm a good person. I think I try to do the best I can. I think that a lot of that comes from, both my mom and my dad. And, she's definitely been someone who has been supportive of most of the choices I've had, as long as they, were actually going to be beneficial for me and what I wanted to do, who I wanted to be, as I got older. So I'd say the first one is my mom is one of my biggest role models. I'd say secondly, she's probably one of the most loving people I've ever met. And then I know, you have a more intimate relationship with your parents because whether it be bad or good, because you're always around them. But I think that through being through proximity, I've seen so much love when it comes to not just me and my sister, but also just to other to even random people, And I think that is something that, some might say is kind of scarce nowadays, especially, as things get kind of colder. Those things might seem like they're getting kind of colder around the world.
Yeah.
And what should I say for the third?
The first 2 were fantastic. Lisa.
Yeah, the first 2 were so good. You mean I
do we not need to follow up now? I'd say third, work ethic. I think that when not only does she hold herself to a higher standard, but she also, in the best ways, holds fellow coworkers and others around her to a higher standard too. Because not only do you want, when you're working on a project with other people, you have your part, and everybody else plays their part as well. And it's not necessarily out of the fact that I don't want you to make mistakes to make me look bad. It's more so that as I'm working with you, I see who you are as a person. And I know that, if you see someone who's not doing what they could be doing, she is able to see that, no, I know you have it in you. I know you're able to, push so much more into this, so it's expecting
awesome.
The best from that person. So
that sounds like great parenting. Since we're asking questions, I have another question for you, Michael, and I'm not going to give you a number. I'm not going to say give me a top 3, but our last show, I was talking, me and Bill were talking about parenting, and I said one of the things that in raising my kids is that I think is really, really crucial is letting them fail. So you're a young man, but in your life, whether it's professional or personal, in what way did you fail that actually really taught you a big lesson?
Sorry, I don't think I heard the last part of the question.
In what way in your life did you fail, something that you failed at that you learned a valuable lesson from? Or have you not failed?
I've definitely failed, and I'm trying to think of a good example of. I would say that when I was in school still trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I definitely had hiccups. There were classes that I probably didn't do as well as I wanted to, but I kind of and plus when you're trying to balance social life with school. And, also for me, it was trying to work during the summer to make as much money as I could to be able to help pay for, stuff I was doing while I was in school as well. I think that you kind of have to build a, relationship with yourself where when you come to a hardship, it's more so about, if I'm able to come away from this hardship having learned something, that's the whole battle. So for me, I failed. I've did poorly in courses and tests and stuff before. I switched majors. I actually started as a history major, and eventually, the more I was looking into it, the more I was like, yeah, I don't really know if I'm going to be able to find exactly, what I want to do with this. And I kind of was like, closing that chapter of my life. But at the same time, I can still do so much more with it, because the fact that I pursued it in the first place, I'm now walking away with all of that information. And now, even though I'm going the computer science route, I could always go back to history. I could always, teach on the side or,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think
Great
being
points.
able to walk away from it and saying that, you learned something.
Got it. Awesome answer.
So you never fail, you learn.
Good point.
Exactly. You learn. And that's life, it's just a series of learning experiences. Bad and good, but
so Lisa, how do you feel sitting next to this magnificent adult that you have raised? Like,
Well,
he is a reflection of you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
It's true.
I mean, honestly, both of my kids are fabulous people. They really are. And I say that, and I know that can sound biased because I'm their mother, but I mean, I can look at that on the outside and also hear what other people say about them as well. They're really great human beings. And
That's awesome. And you should be biased, right? I mean, here's what I hate when, like, in our community, a lot of times where parents like kind of disrespect or kind of shit talk their kids. It should be the opposite. We should be holding these kids up in the spotlight and saying,
Right.
damn, I'm proud of them. And that's a great feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. And I am so very proud of Michael. I mean, he's just, it almost is, I don't know. It's really something for me to know that, this is my son, because I mean, he's just become such a great man. And, he's still in my mind, still my baby boy, but I mean, he's a grown man and, he's just done so much and continues to do so much. He's just a great person.
That's awesome. Great answer.
And he seems to be proud of you. So that's a mutual thing. And you don't get that a lot. I'm very, very proud of what you have done here. Ladies and gentlemen, the Wicked Witch of the East.
Oh my God. What is wrong with you?
Has he started already? He didn't even let me get on 2 seconds.
Hey, Michael.
Good evening,
Have
my
you met
cousins.
Debbie?
How's it going, Debbie?
I'm doing fine. How you doing?
Doing pretty good.
I haven't seen you in a couple of years, Mister.
Yeah.
Woo, have you grown?
He has had some magnificent things to say about his mother. And it was heartwarming to listen to how much praise he gave to Lisa.
I will make sure I go back. I know it's good because she's a beautiful person. Always has been.
Oh, thank you.
That's true.
Is she? Like, God, Lisa, come on. You get all this praise.
I mean, she has. She's a beautiful person from inside and out. And it shows in the things she does and says. And look at her kids. Look at her children. Look at her children. And I can say the same thing for my cousin Bill Scott, not Bill Rochelle, but Bill. Because you have 2 beautiful children too.
Oh, thank you very much.
I've seen all these kids including you 2, Bills, since y'all was babies. So I'm proud of all of y'all. I am. I'm very proud of my family.
Oh.
I'm through. Continue on. I interrupted everything.
No, you didn't.
Not at all.
So, Michael, from this perspective, you look like Michael B. Jordan.
You know, I've gotten that before.
Have you?
Mm.
So it's not just me, right? So you do
I've
look
gotten
like
that
him.
before.
Okay.
When I
All
was
right.
in Los Angeles, a lot of people, I would get all kinds of random names that some of I had never heard before. Like I was at a Lakers game one time, and somebody came up and was like, "You know, you look like Blueface." At the time, I was like, "What's Blueface?"
He's a rapper.
I was like, "I don't know what that means."
He's a rapper.
I don't know who Blueface is.
He's a rapper.
That's what
Oh, I
Blueface
think I know who
is.
he is now. Okay.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of the guys that went around with the painted blue faces.
Right. The Blue Man Group.
That's the Blue Man Group.
Oh, okay.
How can an old fart like me know who Blueface is? And come
Because
on
I'm
now.
older than you.
I'm barely on social media anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody at award shows anymore. Do you have dreads or locks? What do you have?
Oh yeah, I got so they started out as twists, and then I eventually just let them turn into dreads. So yeah, they started locking already. So I've been trying to upkeep that.
All right. Have you met my nephew? Rashad?
Rashad. Train.
I don't think I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd like to though.
Well,
Yes,
he's in Indiana now. He's actually you're way older than him now that I
Yeah.
think about it.
But well, he went to Springfield High. He was the quarterback there for a number of years. He's playing college football now,
Yeah.
doing very well. Yeah.
Yeah, he was always on television, so
I think so. Okay, I think I know of him, but I don't think we've actually like formally met before.
well you should.
Yeah.
You should. Next week, ladies and gentlemen, we are having on June 19th Ryan Scott, and I want everyone to be there. It will be the first passing of the torch from this generation to the next generation. Mr. Scott, would you like to talk about Ryan Scott and who he is and his age? And
Sure. Well, he's actually my son. So I actually have two kids. I have a daughter, Olivia, who's also been on the show. She's almost 21. She's 20. She's a senior at University of Michigan. Right now she's out east doing an internship, but she'll be going back to Ann Arbor, late August to finish her senior year. And her younger sibling is my son Ryan, who is 18, who is just finished high school, and he'll be going off to college. And also in late August, he's going to McGill University in Montreal. And he and Bill kind of chatted for the first time the other day. And Bill always does shows live, but this is the first time to accommodate for Ryan's schedule and to actually usher in this new programming of younger cousins. Ryan is going to tape a show, and he's going to have some of our younger cousins on, and we're going in a new direction, and Ryan's going to be kind of spearheading that. So yeah, it's kind of exciting.
yeah, so we're ending Cousin Talk June 28th, as you guys see.
We're taking a
not
hiatus. We're taking a
not ending.
hiatus. That's all.
Yeah.
It's
Yes,
seasonal. Seasonal in
Yes,
Yeah.
and then we're going to start back up in
September.
Yes, thank you, Debbie.
Yeah.
And then what we're doing is we recognize that Lisa and Michael, you guys are all doing things for the summer, and there's summer activities going on, and vacations and everything else. So we're letting our cousins do what they need to do. We're taking a break, and then coming back in September.
Yeah. And ironically, one of the things about my kids appearing is that they pretty much don't want me on the show with them. So it was kind of a fluke. It was kind of a fluke that I was actually on the show with Olivia, and I think it went okay. But apparently, Bill said that I kind of stepped on her toes a little bit. So I know Ryan would not want me on the air with him at all.
Did I tell you that, or did she tell you that?
You did, but she was actually okay with me. So, and actually, like half the things you say, I just take with a grain of salt anyway. So, but I should not be on the show with him. So, I'm good with that.
I mean, yeah, like if my mom came on, you would host the show. I would.
That show that you had Olivia and Bill on, and actually you had 3 generations because Bill's dad was on there too.
Yeah,
intermittent.
sort of.
So
Yeah.
there was 3 generations there at that time.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Your
nice.
dad has so much to offer and is gives so much great information. I mean, Bill, you must be proud of all that.
I'm very proud of my dad. He's a smart man. My kids are very, yeah, I'm very lucky. I'm very happy. It's funny as you get older, I think you appreciate your family more.
Mhm.
When you're younger, you're like, yeah, okay, whatever, but as you get older and you go through life, it's like, man, it's nice to have family. It's nice to, we're related, like it goes back to the picture, it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
we are related. I don't know if you guys know what we're talking about. There's and your dad's on there, Lisa. There's a picture of all the first cousins on this staircase at Aunt Emma's house. And all of us are sourced from that picture. It's just kind of cool.
Not her dad, her grandfather.
Or
Grandfather.
oh,
Yeah.
gotcha. My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. My bad. Sorry.
Okay. It's okay. I know what you're talking about.
No, it's not her grandfather. It's her uncle. Mm-mm. You talking about Jimmy and Pablo?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, it would
Those
be
are her uncles.
uncles.
Her
Yeah,
mother is
uncles,
their
yeah.
brother. Her mother
Oh.
is sister to Jimmy, Pablo, and Freddie. Lisa's mother is a sister to them.
Okay, all right,
That's right.
all right,
Got it.
Yeah.
Right in here.
Yeah, the staircase photo. Yeah, that's the uncles. Yeah.
Yeah.
got it. So Tooks is not your grandfather.
Yes.
Sarah is your
Yes.
No,
grandmother.
yes, he is. Uncle Tooks and Aunt Sarah are her grandparents.
Right.
Her mother, Bernadette, has 4 siblings: Jimmy, Freddie, Pablo, and those are her. Those are my first cousins.
Right.
You
And my
Bill-
dad's first cousin. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And Bill's dad was the oldest of that group.
Right.
Staircase. Bill's dad was.
Right.
And
We said that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
We said that earlier. Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad was the oldest of the first cousins. My grandpa was the oldest of, right.
Oh,
Was yeah, exactly.
No. He was the oldest. Aunt Myrtle was the oldest.
Oh, okay.
Aunt Myrtle,
Sibling.
yes.
Gotcha.
Aunt
Okay.
Myrtle was the firstborn.
Gotcha. Okay.
And if you want a little bit of tidbit, Aunt Myrtle, when she had her first child, Ski Jackson, he was born 2 months after my dad was born. So,
Ah.
so Aunt Myrtle had her first child when my grandmother had her last child. Aunt Myrtle had her last child when my dad had his first child.
Wow.
Because David and Ellen are 4 days apart. And David is the last child of Aunt Myrtle, but he's the first child of my dad. It's crazy. But
I have no idea what they just said, everybody. So
I know.
if anyone else is lost,
It's hard to focus.
if anyone else is lost, then you're fine.
Anyway, it comes down to the picture.
If any of y'all ever met my grandparents, James and Mary Scott, they were born in 1881 and 1882. So I know relatives that have been born across 3 centuries.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
About it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually reached
That's
out to
something
my
think about.
I actually reached out to you, Deb, your cousin, my uncle Chris, because
Yeah.
I'm trying to get him on because he's done a lot of research on the family, and
Yes.
I'm gonna have to twist his arm some more.
How did it go?
I talked to them last night. There's some
Oh,
issues.
did you? All right. Well, we'll get back. And by the way,
I'll tell you about that later.
Chris and Freddie and Pablo were incredibly close. Because all 3 of them went to Vietnam, if I recall.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I did. And Jimmy did too, didn't he, Lisa?
Yes.
Yeah, Jimmy, Freddie, and Pablo all were in the service.
Yeah.
And then there was Chrissy, and of course the other Ivan. I can't remember all that. And Aunt Myrtle's kids who went to what?
I think we need a flow chart, to be honest, for this family. We need a flow chart.
Yeah.
Actually, there is one. There is one.
Is there?
Yeah,
All right.
there is one. Yeah. And Chrissy is the one. He and his wife Kathy have actually put all this together.
Oh
And
yeah, for sure.
they have all that information. Kathy can rattle. It was
Oh no, she's amazing.
Kathy and my mom could tell you the histories of the Scots better than the Scots could.
Exactly. But you know, it'd be cool if there was a flow chart when it came to Billy Rochelle. Have some white ski goggles by it, so it really stands out. You know what I mean?
We need a lot of white people for that.
Yeah, ski goggles. Yeah.
So I don't know why I have to be the butt of all your jokes, but it's okay. Lisa,
Yeah.
I'm not going to let you be silent today. All right. So Michael has really spoken up a lot. So what is on your mind at this very moment?
I just want to say that your white glasses are very fashion forward.
Oh, now he changes them.
Okay, those are fashion forward as well. Aviators.
She gave you a compliment and then you change them, dude. What's up with that?
I was changing them when you told me they were goggles. So then
Okay.
I put on goggles.
It's a little bit more like goggles, actually.
Yeah.
Now you're going flying. No, but
I love that Michael's already ripping on you. That's awesome.
Oh, this is hysterical.
We're like shooting glasses.
I noticed we got rid of the lamp over in the corner too.
No, we
that
didn't.
too. Oh,
It's here.
Yeah, but we can't see it.
it looks so much better without the shadeless lamp.
Okay, that was done intentionally. So Lisa,
Yeah.
back to you, because
Yeah.
Bill and Debbie can really take over a conversation.
I'm sorry.
How are things going? How's your life? How is Springfield?
Well, things are going okay. My life is okay. Springfield is, Springfield. It's slow.
Springfield.
I'd rather be somewhere else, but I'm here making it work.
I understand.
If you could
But
be
really,
someplace else,
I want to know,
where
like,
would
how did you get the idea to even do this podcast with the cousins? I think it's just a great
Yeah.
platform. I mean, to have everybody on the way you've done,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
So it wasn't my idea. I have 6 different shows that I do, and UBU Live is the anchor.
Right.
And one day, and it's every Sunday at 4 p.m.
Eastern.
Eastern. Thank you. And one Saturday, Bill and we grew up together, but we had lost connection for a long time. Then we started talking about just basic shit, right? And so I'm like, hey, do you want to talk about it live? And he goes, okay, yeah. And we did it. And he drank a lot before the show. And he was like, man, I was scared before we did it. I can't wait till next week. And I wasn't thinking about next week. So I was like, okay, sure, we'll do next week. And I think I invited Debbie, and it just kind of snowballed into this thing. And one of the things that we do, which I do for all of my shows, I don't do a pregame. I don't do a pre-show topic discussion. So everything that we do, we're talking about it live. So it makes it more authentic, and the questions lead to other questions. Like, Michael, you got married. Okay, you're 29. You got married 3 years ago. So that was when you were 26.
Yeah.
But you lived in LA. And then when did you meet? Okay, you met in high school at Springfield High. So you get more authentic conversations than if we had a script.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
No, I agree.
Yeah, and you get to move through it. And the other part is you get to see the way that we do it, our real interactions, so our real personality. So off this call, Bill would still say, whatever ignorant crap he just said about me. you would still say it. It's the same. So it's not for show. This is our real personalities.
Yeah, unfortunately, no. And what we ask also, if you know someone within the family that you think would be awesome on the live, hit Bill up with their name and telephone number, or contact them and have them, because we want you guys to get to know each other. Oh, here we have I think I'm gonna block that. But no, seriously, we want you guys to get to know each other as we knew each other growing up. This is
Wait.
What?
We didn't know each other growing up. Please.
No.
No.
Not you as the age.
Okay. Make sure.
When I
Make
say,
sure.
because you haven't grown up yet, but
Wow.
you like that, don't you? You're still young, Bill Rochelle. But no, seriously, we need the younger cousins because we have spread out so much. The family has actually, you've got cousins from coast to coast, probably overseas and everywhere else, and you rarely get a chance to get together to get to know each other. Social media, it's the way you do things today. So if this is what we do to get y'all to know each other, hey, come on, let's do it.
So what did Christian say about coming on?
Who you asking that question to?
You said you talked to him
I
yesterday.
talked to him last night, but I can't. No.
Oh, let's talk off camera about that.
Okay. All right.
I understand what's going on right now, and he can't right now. He can't.
Okay. I understand. All right. Thank you for shutting me down. I can ask questions, Lisa, but you always feel free to say no. That's the beauty of the show. You know, you come up with questions and you don't need to answer.
And apparently Bill is used to hearing that too, so he's good with it.
And if he cuts you off, just keep talking. He will shut me down. Just keep talking, Just
He's gonna kill me.
Yeah, I asked you to take the lead on today's show, and you definitely have. And I appreciate that.
Now he wants it back.
So, Michael, enough about me. Let's talk about you. What do you think about me?
I mean, for let's see, 30, 40 minutes so far, I feel like you look like a cool person.
That was a joke.
Okay.
No, it wasn't. Don't even try that, Bill. That wasn't a joke.
Yeah, I was gonna build it up. What's he gonna say next?
That's pretty funny though.
I'm hilarious. That's why I have my own show.
You are. That's why you have 6 shows.
Yeah. That's why I have what?
6 shows.
Yeah. That is yes. But Michael, come on. What do you think about Bill Scott? Do you think he looks like a rat, or a parrot, or a chicken? If you had to say he looked like one of those.
Is that mean, you guys? See how he strikes back? Because I hurt his feelings about that no comment. Now he's all upset. Yeah.
No, I'm just asking. Like, choose one. Which one would it be? Rat, parrot?
You said I can say another questions, right? I'm gonna say no this one.
Oh.
Actually, Michael, so choose. You don't have to answer those kind of questions.
Thank you for not answering Bill's petty question, Michael.
That's a loaded question right there, Bill.
Yeah.
Was it? Is Yvette gonna go? Is Yvette coming on the 19th? I texted her to tell her that the date changed, and I haven't heard back.
I don't know. I didn't know that it changed, but I can talk to her and find out. I'm sure she was excited about doing it.
Yeah, but now it's Thursday because Ryan couldn't do Saturday.
Oh, it is.
So I don't know
Bill,
what her schedule is like. She may not be able to. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's Thursday at 4, which is 3 p.m. your time. June 19th.
Can't do it.
Okay. She's in
I didn't ask her.
Ohio, so it would be Eastern time. her.
Oh, okay. What is she doing in Ohio?
She's with Victoria's Secret corporate. She's fashion merchandising. So she's
you know, you had another cousin that was working for Victoria's Secrets doing that. George
Sorry.
George White's daughter used to work for Victoria's Secrets in that line too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She's,
So is that Columbus? Is that the Columbus area then?
Yeah, their home office is in Columbus, Ohio. Yep.
Gotcha.
oh,
It's a
she
big
knows
company
that.
that owns Limited and all that, right?
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
she looked like a teenager in the pictures that
No, she's what is she 32?
Yeah, they're
What?
pictures of me.
Yeah.
the
My
one
kids are
wait.
old.
So she was with you and CJ and Tony at the anniversary party.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. I thought she was like 18.
Everybody grows up but you, Bill.
I know.
Oh yeah. So is she close to Tony?
Yeah, she
Okay.
is actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I really want to get Tony and Chris together. That would be my ideal final show.
Let me talk to him.
Yeah, and we would restrict it to be simply about the
And that's
heritage.
the 28th, right?
Yes. Can you read?
No.
It says it right there.
Reading is fundamental.
So Michael, tell us more great things about your mom stories.
Oh wow.
On the
One
spot.
story, then no, I am on the spot today. Yeah, do some recall.
So one day I came home and mom was washing her hair and then her hair fell out. But one of those.
We want some dirt.
Oh, no, yeah, you want some dirt stories, huh?
like the weird thing that you remember, like, okay, one day.
Nothing weird ever.
I remember I was a kid. I did something pretty dumb where I was probably like 5 or so. There was a wasp coming towards me, and I tried to throw a rock at it. It completely missed and hit the window behind it and shattered one of our windows. And my mom was the first one on the scene. And,
Oh my God.
and she could have been a lot more mad at me for doing that. She was upset, but she was able to temper that in order to be like, "This is why you don't do this."
This is why you don't throw rocks at glass. Okay.
Actually, did you just hear what he just said? Like, his one story about his mother is about how accommodating she is and how loving she is and how she could have, but she didn't. And then she taught him a lesson in a very loving way.
And apparently she's non-violent because I don't know.
Because I would have thrown the rock back at you.
That's
And then cussed you out and then told you who's paying for this window. All that would have happened.
that
in my
wasn't
house.
the Scott side of her that came out at that point because you'd have got a beating for real. And
Oh, I'll
then
tell
you
you.
got taught a lot.
I mean, as a parent, you always want to. I don't know. I always felt like there needs to be life lessons. So you always want to teach the kids. I didn't like to yell at them or do any of that. It was always, this is why we don't do certain things, and explain to them so they understand.
Yeah.
Because I remember growing up as a child, you do something wrong, you're going to get yelled at.
Yeah.
You're going to get a whooping.
And then you got taught the life lesson.
Yeah, that was your life lesson. Don't do this or else.
Don't do it again.
This is what happens.
What I just heard is breaking childhood curses or traumatic childhood trauma or generational curses. We were raised in a certain area, and Bill and I have, and CJ. I'm going to keep it very, very right there. Yes, I'm going to stop it. But we've chosen to lead and raise in a different way, and to be very understanding and present in our children's lives, and to understand the weight of our words and the weight of our responses in their lives. Does that make sense, Bill?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
And I don't know if we're necessarily saying one way is better than the other, although I suppose since we're doing things differently than maybe we were raised, and maybe that is a conscious choice, that maybe the way we're doing it we feel is better. But
yeah,
I don't know, but you can't walk in your father's shoes or your mom's shoes back then to say what was right or what was wrong. You just got to do the best you can, as I'm sure they did the best they could, right? I mean,
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
absolutely. I 100% agree with everything you just said.
And if you look at it, like, I mean, my dad had me, and he was 20 something, I mean, very young, I mean, I didn't get married till I was 35. So, it's a whole different ball game, that our parents had kids very, very young, when they were kind of just fighting. I can't imagine having a child at 22, because you're just a child yourself. You're just trying to figure out your life and what you're all about. And then you have this huge responsibility. So that's hard.
Yeah, yeah,
And I kind of feel maybe in the past I've been a little judgy about stuff, and maybe as I get older, I get a little bit wiser and a little bit more objective, and say it had to be tough.
look at you being evolved.
It happens. Some people do.
Yeah, so I agree with that sentiment. There's, I'm not a parent myself, but there's no. I feel like there's no one way to parent, because you yourself, when you become a parent, you're still just learning, somebody else. So
There's no book on how to parent. Every
no
parent,
book.
every parent has to do it differently, because each
Exactly.
child is different, and what works for one child is not going to work for another child. What worked for you may not work for your child.
Yeah.
Right.
As long as you approach it and you bring it with love, then it's all that matters.
I do have a question for you, people that have children, grandchildren, whatever. Do you believe that only speaking to the child is the correct way for discipline? Do you think a child at some time needs a spanking, not a whipping, but sometimes you need to.
Oh, yeah. I definitely agree with that. I mean, I do think that, there are some instances where talking will suffice, but there are other instances where, because they are kids, they are going to do things that are not acceptable at all. And, punishment is required, I feel. And for me personally, punishment was not, as I said, I grew up, we got spankings, but I didn't think that was, for me, that didn't seem like the approach that I wanted to take with my children. Okay. So it was always, like maybe being grounded or something being taken away that they were used to having. So that was, for me, punishment for my kids. Those types of punishments.
Yeah, there should always be ramifications, right? There should always be ramifications for behavior that's inappropriate.
Right. Yeah.
So I only hit Brooke once, and that was because she ran across the street while a car was coming.
Oh, wow.
And I grabbed her and I swatted her, and she was about 7 or 8. That one time, and I remember it because she was shocked that I hit her, and I didn't want that a man hitting a woman is not something I wanted to normalize.
Yeah.
The funny part about taking things away is Amanda was jumping on the bed really hard, and I said, if you continue to jump on the bed, you're going to be in the corner. And she continued to jump, so I told her to go in the corner, and she walked out of the room. And I looked at my now ex-wife, and I said, what the hell? She walked out of the room, and she came back with a chair. And Stacy told me, I told her to get in the corner, and I forgot. And she was standing in the corner for 2 hours. So she took the chair and she put the chair in the corner, and then she sat down. And when we started, she was like, I'm not going to stand for 2 hours again. And she was like 2 years old, right?
That's awesome.
And we started laughing, and she started crying because she didn't understand what she had done.
Why stand if you can sit, right?
Right? She was like, "No, I'm not doing that shit again. I'm getting me a chair,
Going to the corner, but
Yeah.
I'm going to the corner.
but I'm gonna be comfortable."
That's pretty smart. That's pretty smart. That's pretty smart.
Yeah. I don't know how Stacey forgot her for like an hour and a half, 2 hours in the corner, but
It
it
happens.
happens. Yeah.
It does happen.
All right. So, Lisa,
Yeah.
we're going to allow you to close out our show today. So I want you to tell us 4 things that you think are exceptionally great about Michael.
4 things.
2 things that you find exceptionally great about Debbie. 1 thing that you find great about Bill Scott.
Why are you such a list guy?
What?
Lisa, close out the show however the hell you want.
It's your show now, Lisa.
I
It's your
want to do this. As far as my son, I don't know. I mean, 4 things. I really feel like, I'm under pressure with that. But I mean, overall, Michael is a great individual. I mean, he just is. I mean, he's shown you that. And, whether it's, because of me and his father, I don't know, but I know that, he's become a very well-rounded adult. And I'm so very proud of him. And I continue to be every day. I mean, he amazes me with, the things that he continues to do. So, I do want to say that about him. As far as Debbie, I've known Debbie since I was a little girl. I've always loved Debbie's laugh and, just a beautiful person, as she said about me, inside and out. And, she just brightens up a room.
Thank you.
I am grateful to have met Bill Scott. I don't think that I've ever met you before.
I don't think so.
So I'm glad to have met you today.
Oh, thank you. Nice meeting you.
And Billy, I am, even though it was not your idea, but I'm so happy that you guys did this and, thought of this. Yeah, you, Bill. The 2 of you kind of got this thing up and going. And I think it's just a great platform to just have the cousins on and meet each other and talk. And yeah, this is wonderful.
I like it too, but you skipped. You have 3 more about Michael, so you can only you can only figure out 1. Does Bill Scott look like a chicken to you, or a parrot, or?
Bill looks like the lion of the community. He's always in charge and knows what he's doing and where he's going. He's a lion. He's a protector of his family.
On that note,
There you go.
bye, everybody.
Are you Adonis? He is.
Did he go on? Did he?
He's out.
Yeah, he's Adonis. All right.
That's it. He don't want anymore. He wasn't gonna give you another chance.
No, he's at his girlfriend's house, and that's
okay.
great for him. All right, love you guys. I'm gonna reach out to Yvette to find out if she's gonna be on the 19th because we rescheduled it. If you talk to her, let her know I texted her earlier this week.
Yeah.
And just wanted to see if she could make it. CJ's daughter couldn't do the time because we scheduled it for 10:45 a.m. in Central Time, which is 8:45 for them.
Yeah.
So that's why we rescheduled it so that Sundry can be there. But
Right.
we would love to have Yvette, Sundry, Ryan, and Jaden there.
Oh, Jaden's gonna be on there too. Cool.
I don't know yet.
Okay.
Ask your cousin Chrissy.
That's his grandfather, not his parent.
I know.
I'll talk.
All right. Much love, guys.
Okay.
All
All right. Hey, Michael. Final thoughts?
Thoughts? It's good to be on. Good to talk to you guys, and I hope to do more of this. Let's do it.
Okay, that's what Bill Scott said. Now he's doing it once a week. So
Yeah.
be careful about what you ask for. Love you guys. I'll see you
All right.
soon.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.